Thanks for joining me at Oracle Database World as I discuss an exciting new Database 21c feature called Gradual Password Rollover. This new feature allows you to change your application passwords in the database without taking application downtime. I'm Alan Williams, the Database Security Product Management Team. I've been with Oracle for 16 years. To maintain security compliance, many customers are required to rotate their passwords, including passwords on the database. Obviously, databases, the administrators, DBAs, can easily change their password by themselves using their tools like SQL+, SQL Developer, utilities, most which are used ad hoc, and their passwords can be changed when they aren't being used. But many applications run 24/7 and find it difficult to schedule downtime to reset their passwords to remain compliant with their security requirements. And scheduling downtime for any application can be very time and labor intensive. These changes frequently have to go through change request process requiring multiple approvals prior to any changes taking place. Then you have the actual downtime execution with notifications, potentially shutting down the application, changing the password on the database, as well as application side, hopefully in wallets and not in clear text files, and then restarting the application if they have to shut it down and ending the downtime with additional notifications. Customer applications frequently need to stay up 24/7, and downtimes may impact internal or external SLAs they need to maintain. These SLAs may have payment or other penalties for violating the availability agreement. I've been told by at least one customer that application passwords never get changed. Others will do it infrequently and only during application upgrades, which require their own downtime. Customers will delay password changes, piggybacking on other downtime opportunities, and will be out of compliance and may need waivers, as well as increasing security risk. The new Database 21c feature, called Gradual Password Rollover, or GPR for short, allows a customer to create a new password for the application and still allow the old password to work. During the rollover period, both passwords are allowed, allowing time for applications to change the passwords, and when all the passwords have been changed, the old password will expire and only the new password will be allowed. GPR is enabled simply by adding a new limit called Password Rollover Time to the profile for the service accounts. Entering a non-zero value will enable password changes to go through a rollover period. Not specifying a password rollover time or setting it to the default value of 0 will mean the password changes work as before. There is no rollover. The value is in days, and parts of a day are allowed. For example, 12/24 for 12 hours. The minimum value is 1 hour, represented by the fraction 1/24, and the maximum is 60 days. But this could vary if password lifetime or password grace time is also set. In these cases, the maximum time will be the lower of 60 days, password lifetime, or password grace time. This is a graphic from the Database Security Guide, the password lifecycle, and you'll notice phase 1 is now split into two phases. Phase 1A is showing the password rollover time, and there's a new account status value called Open and in Rollover. Once this is set in the profile, this new limit, make sure the user is associated with the profile, and that could be when you create the service account, or with a create user, or by an alter user command. Then to start the password rollover, the admin creates a new password, and this will start the rollover time period specified in the profile. You have that amount of time to change the passwords on the application side. During the time period, the application can log into the service account using either the old or new password. Once all the password updates have been completed, you can either let the old password expire at the end of the rollover time, or you can force it to expire. Here's an example of an SQL statement to expire the password. If the new password for GPR was entered incorrectly or just needs to be changed again for some reason within the rollover period, it can be done. Here are some SQL commands to change the password again. However, please remember the password change time, or the expiration, is fixed. Once you start a GPR rollover, that time doesn't change, the expiration time, no matter how many times you change the password. It doesn't get updated for every new password change. Okay, GPR does not work for externally authenticated users, which makes sense since these credentials are maintained outside the database. Same goes with global or enterprise users managed in an internet directory or other LDAP directory. GRP will not work with HTTP digest authentication passwords or 10G password verifiers or role passwords. It will also not work with administrative users like syshopper and sysdba due to the password file. The user will remain in rollover status until the first successful logon after GPR expiration. There is no process that runs and cleans up after the GPR expiration time. When a user first logs on after GPR expiration with the new password, the old verifier will be removed and the user status will be updated. Some additional notes. As we said, both the old and new passwords can be used during the rollover period. Only the database server needs to be 21C. Existing supported database clients will be able to leverage this new feature without getting patched or upgraded. This has already been backported to DB19C, specifically DB19.12, which was a July 2021 release update. This will work with both on-premises and cloud databases. And there won't be any performance change for user accounts that are not in password rollover. And there might be a small performance impact during login to user accounts and password rollover, since there may be an additional round trip between the server and client to allow this to work. The DBA users column, account status, is updated with rollover status information. And login audit events can also capture the password information. GPR information is captured in Unified Audit, both the verifier version, 11G or 12C, and whether the old or new password was used is captured. The first example, the new 12C password was used. In the second example, the old 11G password was used. If you want to query Unified Audit for service accounts still using the old password, run the following query. The regular expression will capture the -old, signifying use of the older password. I mentioned there were some new values for the DBA users account status column. There were 9 values previously. There are 6 new values, all related to rollover. I won't get into what each means. Please read the documentation for this information. Speaking of documentation, Gradual Password Rollover is documented in the DB21C Database Security Guide, and we are also adding documentation when we backport it to prior versions. So this is also documented in the 19C Security Guide. This is Gradual Password Rollover. Thank you for watching and taking part in Oracle Database World.